A summer afternoon in the attic, the day Theodore Ohman came alive again. By Eugene, Mathena. The mid-July sun beat down on the roof of my house, turning the attic into a furnace. I was up there anyway, sleeves rolled, boxes shifting, memories stirred and stacked like sediment in an old riverbed. That's when I heard the screen door creak and a familiar voice echo up the stairs. Eugene, you up there? I am. I called back, wiping sweat from my brow. If you can stand the heat, come on up. Just don't wear polyester. With a groan and the heavy thud of boots on wood, my friend climbed the attic stairs. He paused just at the top, blinking as his eyes adjusted. Then he spotted it mounted proudly on the far wall between some old Confederate States bond certificates and a Gone with the Wind movie poster. "Is that what I think it is?" he asked, stepping closer. "The Declaration of Independence?" I smiled. "A fine reproduction, yes. A lithograph from 1942 by a man named Theodore Ohman. Never heard of him." "Well," I said, pulling a rickety fan toward us, "then you're in for a story." Theodore Ohman, I explained, wasn't a politician or a statesman. He was a lithographer working out of Charlotte, North Carolina. During the 1940s, with World War II raging and the spirit of American liberty being threatened abroad, Ohman felt the Declaration deserved to be seen again, not in dusty books, but on the walls of classrooms, homes, and government offices. He wanted to remind people what they were fighting for. Exactly. But he wasn't content with any ordinary copy. He wanted to replicate the Declaration as it originally appeared before time, light, and decay had faded it. So he used a painstaking method. How did he even do that? Did he have access to the real thing? Not quite, I said, stepping over a box labeled ephemera, 1870s, 1920s. He relied on early photographs and engravings, particularly the famed 1823 copperplate engraving by William J. Stone. That version was authorized by Secretary of State John Quincy Adams himself, and Ohman studied it down to every flourish and faded ink blot. "Talk about dedication," my friend said. He recreated the calligraphy, spacing, and even the tone of the parchment. But unlike Stone's copperplate prints, which were engravings, Ohman produced his copies using lithography that allowed for fine detailing, and his prints had a rich, velvety look, closer in appearance to what the document might have looked like in Jefferson's time. So, it's not a fake, but not an original? Right, I said. It's a faithful facsimile, a reproduction of high artistic and historical integrity. Ohman's goal wasn't to forge, but to restore the feeling of the Declaration's original glory. "Where'd people get these?" he asked, tracing a finger along the elegant script. "Schools, veterans groups, historical societies. Some were even commissioned for corporations. Would you believe Coca-Cola printed a commemorative run? Mine came through a private sale in Virginia, and I bought the frame myself." "Why do you keep it up here?" "Well, I'd love to have it displayed downstairs in my parlor, but as you can see, it's pretty big. History survives in attics. It doesn't mind the heat, the dust, or the dim corners of memory. But every so often, a friend climbs the stairs and asks a good question, and suddenly, Theodore Ohman lives again." Theodore Ohman's 1942 lithographs remain one of the finest mid-20th century facsimiles of the Declaration of Independence. Created during a time of national crisis, They served as patriotic reminders of the founding ideals. His careful reproduction work has found its way into libraries, private collections, and the hands of historians who understand that sometimes the truest versions of history are the ones you preserve, not in textbooks, but in personal spaces like an old southern attic in the thick, dark mountains of the Old Dominion.